Premier League top time. Another incredible weekend for the Reds as Arsenal drop more points. Liverpool get a win, coming from 1-0 down. And number 20 is on its way. I am already celebrating. I'm in party mood right now until the end of the season. Carabao Cup this weekend. Champions League also still this week as well. Still got a chance in both competitions. Obviously, Carabao Cup, we are favourites to win it. Champions League got a very good chance of winning it as well. But right now, in terms of Premier League, I am in party mode. But as always on this channel, on this episode specifically, I want to talk about all the Premier League ongoings of the weekend and how it impacts the league table, what my thoughts are on the table and what my thoughts are on the results. Go over maybe my Premier League predictions at what I did on Friday. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? So I did get a few wrong, if I'm honest, but I also got a few right as well. So let's start with the early kickoff on Saturday, which was Nottingham Forest against Man City. I thought Nottingham Forest would get something for it. I did predict 2-2 in the Premier League predictions, but I thought it would be a big game for Forest, a big chance for them to make a statement. And wow, they made a statement. What a huge win for Nottingham Forest. That puts them with the best chance that they can have of getting Champions League football. They are now 4 points clear of Man City in fifth. And bearing in mind, fifth could be the Champions League spots. And they are 5 points clear of Brighton, who is in sixth, with 10 games left. What a beautiful opportunity now for Nottingham Forest. What an incredible moment for them on Saturday. An incredible moment. City didn't really trouble them too much either. I thought they played very, very well, did Forest all game. And it was a bit of a funny goal. A bit of a funny one to concede for Edison, really. Having made some incredible saves throughout the game, I thought it was a very, very weird goal to concede, but Forest fans must be absolutely ecstatic right now, more than they would believe at the beginning of the season. Champions League is an absolute chance now for them. It's a real expectation now of Nottingham Forest. Whether that turns from it's more of a belief, more of like a hope than to a belief, that could maybe change them mentally. But I don't think it will. I think Nuno's gone absolutely ticking, and what a brilliant result for Nottingham Forest on Saturday. Crystal Palace beat Ipswich 1-0. Sarr scored the goal, which I did say Crystal Palace will win. I thought they'd win a bit more convincing than that. Ipswich are absolutely terrible. Ipswich are pretty much down now. I think it was just an expected win. In fact, I'd be very shocked that if anyone actually predicted Ipswich to get anything out of that game. With the way Crystal Palace are playing at the moment, they're on absolute fire. One of the most formed teams in the league. They got a brilliant win against Ipswich. They continue their push for... Where are they on the table now? Palace? Let's have a look at the table. 1 second, guys. So Palace, that puts them in 11th. Could they get European football? 6. So they're 6 points behind Aston Villa. And European football would be 6th and 7th. It would be Conference and Europa League, depending on if Newcastle beat us in the Carabao Cup final, which is more likely not so. But Palace, they've got a good chance. The way they're playing them, they've got a good chance to maybe push Europe. Whether they will or not, that's a different question. That's a different question completely. But yeah, good win for Palace. Continuing their great form. Incredible turnaround for the start of the season that they had. And Ipswich are pretty much down. I think all three are pretty much down, if I'm honest. Brighton, Fulham. I did predict a Fulham win. I said there'd be goals. I thought it'd be 2-1 Fulham. Instead, it was 2-1 Brighton. It was quite a 50-50 sort of game as well. I thought either team could have won. Fulham did go in the league. Brighton came back. Brilliant win for Brighton. And Brighton are really... you know what? Brighton, that kind of team, right? They've got that many good players. They could be looking at Champions League football. They'll want to get Europe. And I think they should get Europe the way they're playing. However, they have got a chance of Champions League. The 1 point behind Man City, the 3 points behind Chelsea. And Chelsea are on and off. Man City don't know what Man City are going to turn up at the moment. They did turn a little bit of a corner. But Brighton might fancy a chance to get Champions League, and they've got a good chance of getting Champions League. They've just got to keep that momentum now. I think they've got to keep that momentum. It's a good win for them against Fulham, against a good Fulham side that are very, very good in attack. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think Brighton could push into Champions League spots? A team that's not being looked at all season in terms of those European players. They've not been as good as what they were last season and season before. But recent games, they have absolutely pushed back up to the top. And now in 6th place, they'll be eyeing up those top 5. Because it will be, the way English teams play in Europe, it will be top 5 for Champions League places, more than likely. So they're only one place behind it. I'll tell you one thing, they'll be looking in the dressing room, they'll be looking at the table, the players themselves at home or whatever they do, they'll be having a little high on that table and thinking, hang on a second here, any slip up from Chelsea, Man City or Forest, they'll be onto it. And fair play to them if they do push it. Aston Villa got a brilliant win against Brentford away. A very tough place to go. We found that out ourselves. We did get a 2-0 win against them, but it was a very tough place to go. Absolutely tough place to go. Aston Villa got a brilliant win in the end. I thought Brentford gave it a Robin Nelson had a brilliant game in net, taking over Martinez. Absolutely fantastic. He got the praise at the end as well. Ollie Watkins got the winner, but Ollie Watkins wanted Olsen to get a lot of the praise from the fans at the end, and rightly so. He was incredible. But yeah, I think it's a big win for Aston Villa. Big win for Aston Villa because the Europe midweek, it's hard to juggle Europe and Champions League football and Premier League football. And Aston Villa are new to that. They're completely new to that. For them to go beat Blue Ridge midweek and then go to Brentford, which is not an easy place to go, and beat them 1-0 is a good win for them, which puts them 7th in the table. And they are also looking at, that top 4 race is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You've got Forest on 51 points. And I'm going down now to Newcastle. So 7 points separating between Newcastle and Forest. 3rd and 9th. And even then, Fulham are 2 points only behind Newcastle. So either one of Newcastle, Bournemouth, Villa, Brighton will all fancy themselves to get that top 5. And like I said, if Chelsea and Man City slip up or Forest just slip up, then one of those teams can push. Newcastle are in 9th, and Newcastle are a very good team. We know how good Newcastle are. Bournemouth have been brilliant this season. Aston Villa and Brighton. I think Aston Villa and Brighton, right, because Bournemouth and Newcastle are getting so much praise for their seasons, how good they've been this season. Aston Villa and Brighton have done it quietly. They've done it very quietly. Aston Villa have had the Champions League to contend with as well, but Brighton in 6th. It's almost like, where have you come from? They've done it very, very quietly, and that could be very dangerous for Man City or Chelsea or Forest above them, that they could sneak into those Champions League places, which is very, very interesting. So, for those Arsenal fans saying how bad this season is, what a top 4 race we've got, including yourselves. But yeah, what a sensational top 4 race that is. Wolves Everton, I probably expected a goal 1-1. I did say Everton will win, but yeah, I thought Wolves came back right. I think Wolves came back right and got a good draw in the end against a pretty much a very, very stubborn David Moyes side, who it's turned everything around. I hate to say it's turned everything around, and maybe next season they might actually do something, might push towards the European players next season with a bit more foundation in place. But yeah, I think these turn them around and probably expect a result there with Wolves Everton. Tottenham, Bournemouth. I did say Tottenham would win 2-1, but yeah, Bournemouth are playing absolutely sensational at the moment. I didn't see Tottenham coming back though. Went 2-0 down. Tottenham have not had that sort of minerals in them this season. By the way, that ball from Kirkes. Liverpool need to go get Kirkes. They need to go get Kirkes. The way he can run that down that flank, the way that his ability to cross the ball and shoot as well, would absolutely just suit Liverpool down to the ground at that left back position, and his brilliant defending as well. So, what a player, what a ball to have in here to get the opening goal. But yeah, fair play to Tottenham for coming back. It's very rare you see a little bit more mentality from them and the ability to come back in a tricky game. Bournemouth, look, we've already said Bournemouth in the top 4 race here, a big top 4 race, and I'd say it's probably a good result for both of them. It's a good result for Bournemouth, obviously going to Spurs away from home, getting a draw, nearly a win, but Tottenham from being 2-0 down, very rarely go 2-0 down and then come back, and they have done. And yeah, I think it's probably a good result for the both of them. Chelsea beating Leicester, expected. Again, a bit like the Crystal Palace one. I don't think anyone expected Leicester to get anything out of it. But 1-0 from Chelsea is a bit poor in it. A bit poor. Cole Palmer did miss a penalty. But yeah, it's a bit poor. But they got the job done, didn't they? I think it's got to the point now where Chelsea, they're not playing particularly well, like they was doing at the start of the season. And there was in a title race for a little bit. But now they just need to grind out results, I think. That top 4 race, because like I said, if any slip up from them and Man City, they've got 4, 5, 6 teams behind them just waiting for the prey. And they've got to be very, very careful, Chelsea. Very careful. It's all right dropping off performance, but make sure they're getting the results. And yesterday was probably one of those. Poor performance, but just get the result. It is bad Leicester side, very, very bad Leicester side, it does probably worry Chelsea fans that they're not be able to beat them a little bit more easier than this, than 1-0. But I just think they've got to get the results. They've got to make sure they get top 4 now. Because if they don't get top 4, if Chelsea don't get top 4 with the season they've had, because they have been incredible for most part of the season, if they don't get top 4, then that'll just be an absolute disaster for them. And like I said, Villa, Brighton, Bournemouth, Newcastle, they'll be sniffing blood. And they will want to pounce on that. So Manchester United, Arsenal, big game for us as Reds fans. Manchester United getting a point for us and helping us win our 20th title. Thank you, Manchester United. I don't want to ever celebrate your points or goals, but thank you in terms of that. You both dropped points. Fantastic. Win-win. They both dropped points. Fuck them both. But yeah, Arsenal, again, it's just the same old with Arsenal. Control the game, control the ball, but just not creating anything. They're not creating anything. And this thing with Arteta, I've always been honest about Arteta. I've always been honest, when Sassel's been on here, Basil's been on here, Hooks has been on here. I've always said the same to him as Arsenal fans. I said, look, Arteta deserves absolute praise for the way he's got Arsenal from where they were to where they are now in terms of challenging for the title, Champions League, playing well as well. That deserves a lot of praise. However, his stubbornness and his ability to adapt to games and his in-game management and things like that need criticising, and it's going to hold them back. Because, yes, they've got no attackers. They're losing Saka, they've lost Havertz, they've lost Jesus, big misses. But then you've got to think differently. If some tactic's not working in-game, you've got to change it. Arne Slot's proved that this season, how good he is tactically, changing things up. He went into a Man City game with no strikers, but we won the game because he knew how to tactically win that game. This is what Arteta doesn't do. And play Moreno up front, okay, worked against Leicester, got the win, played it yesterday. But at some point in the game, you've got to look at it and say, it's not really working this. Something needs to change. You've got to change it up a little bit. And I said, why don't you play? I said it to Hooks that day. I said it to Hooks on here. Look, why don't you play like Martinelli up front? Just giving something. I think it was before the Leicester game, wasn't it? Our first episode together. And I said, look, why don't you play Martinelli up front? Give him some pace, a different kind of way of playing. Rather than just a target man, the big man in the box. Try get him behind the defence. Use a different tactic. Just little things like that can tweak a whole game. It just makes the defence think differently. Rather than just, if you're playing the same way all game and it's not working, then the defence are laughing at you. The defence and the opposition manager's laughing at you. It's like, this is easy. It's easy. We'll just keep playing like we're doing. We'll get a result. And they got a result. Man United are that bad, though. They couldn't get a win. That's just how bad Man United are at the moment. But yesterday for me is on Arteta. It is. Players get managers. Players get injured. Managers get injured. Whatever. I'm saying this from a personal point of view as well. I know I don't do grassroots, but I play and I manage the team as well. And sometimes I've got to work with players or 11. Sometimes I've had 11 players to play with, but I've got to play positions, and we've got results in games that we didn't expect to get results in, because you've got to change it a little bit. You've got to change tactically. You've got to work with what he got. And at the end of the day, Arteta seems to be too stubborn to want to change that. And it's cost his team points. It really is. And not winning out this season is bad, but next season, if they don't win out next season, then he's playing with fire, is Arteta. His stubbornness is going to get him sacked. That's what's going to happen. So, the biggest game of the weekend for us personally, for Liverpool fans, if you are a Liverpool fan watching this, beating Southampton 3-1. We did do match reaction yesterday, me, Naj, and Reese. And I just thought it was just at no point of the game I thought we were going to lose this. Yes, I was angry at half-time, by the way. I was absolutely fuming at half-time, being 1-0 down. That first half was absolutely pathetic. It was pathetic. And Arne Slot said the same thing. Look, he wasn't happy. He must have got into him at half-time. And that's what he needed. Kick up the backside, get in the second half, get the result, get the win, move on. Got a big rest of a couple of months left now to get over this season. Number 20 is on its way. Liverpool fans, we can just relax, sit down, relax. Yes, if something's not going our way, then you can be angry at things. You can be a bit upset. You can feel PTSD because at the end of the day, we've been through it all before and we haven't won. But this just feels different, guys. This feels absolutely different, and I'm ready to go to the parade. I am ready to go to the parade. So make sure you get your flags ready, get your shirts ready, because this is going to be a special one, guys. But brilliant win for Liverpool. Big week for the Reds this week. Let me know your thoughts on the Premier League results this weekend. Let me know your thoughts on the top 4 race, by the way, because that is right now as big as it gets. You're talking 8 or 9 teams in the top 4 race, which is ridiculous. Arsenal trying to join that race themselves. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the top race. Who do you think is going to get the top 4 this season? Do you think Brighton could sneak into it? Because they have been doing it very, very quietly. Do you think all 3 are down like I do? Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton. And do you think number 20 is done? Thank you for watching. Make sure you do like this video, subscribe to the channel, and get your notification bells on the bell. Thank you, everyone.